So hi, we're going to have a look at how we're going to grout our finished little mosaic coaster. So you can see I've got my one I prepared earlier, my little bird here. And we've got the grout, we've got water, we've got something to stir it with. We've also got a pipette. You can use something like a pipette or a water sprayer bottle, something like that. You don't want to add too much water at a time. It's really good to be able to control it down to the smallest amount. So today I'm using a dropper, but yeah, if you do have a spray bottle or something like that, that's just as good. So first thing we're going to do, get our grout, which has been measured out for you. You can see I've got a really small amount of water. I'm only going to add a little bit of it to start off with. I'm going to use this stick just to give it a stir. It will feel like the water has disappeared, but keep stirring. Eventually you'll see it starts to form clumps. Keep going so you think all the water has been stirred in. So at this point I'm going to go in with my dropper. I'm just going to put a few drops here and there and give that a stir. And you can see it's becoming clumpier and clumpier. A few more drops. And keep going, a few drops at a time. What you can't do is take the water out once you've stirred, put it in. So obviously you don't want to, you want to control the amount you put in, because otherwise you'll end up with unusable grout. If it does happen, you can leave it for a little while. It will start to go off or start to settle, and you could use it when it reaches the consistency that you need. Probably best to get some more grout though, and you should have enough in your kit to make up a couple of pots. So we're almost there. I'm just going to put literally a couple of drops more. And the consistency we want is, so it's sort of keeping its shape. It's not pourable, but it's not too thick either. So hope you can see that. It's, what would I compare it to? Mayonnaise, maybe. So once it's stirred, we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. That's for the chemical reactions to take place. So we'll come back in a second. So the grout's ready, so we're going to get on and put it on our piece. So it's a bit ungainly. You could use a teaspoon or a lolly stick or something like that. I'm just going to put a blob or two on the top. Probably would have been easier with a better implement. So let's use the card. There we go. Right, so all we're going to do is spread it across the surface of the mosaic. We're going to use the edge of the card. I'm not pressing hard. I'm going in all directions, backwards and forwards, until it fills all the gaps between the pieces of tile. You carry on in that fashion, adding a bit of grout, spreading it backwards and forwards until you're confident you've filled all the spaces up. Don't press too hard. We don't want to pop any of the mosaic pieces off. If that does happen, try and clean the space where it was. Continue with the rest of this process, but try and keep that space clear, and you can glue it in afterwards. But hopefully that won't happen. So we keep going until we filled all the spaces on the top. So I think we're there. We're going to do the sides now. So the way I like to do it is just get a bit on the end of the card there, and we just press it into the sides so it works its way underneath the edge of the mosaic tiles, and then we just run the card along the top and the side. Until we filled that space. So I'll do that again. So put grout on the edge of your card. And press it into the sides. Run the card down the side and then the top. You might need to do a bit of a clean up around it. And you can carry on around all four sides doing the same thing. Press it in, run the card down top, side. Don't worry at this stage if it looks a bit messy, it will do. We're going to have a little clean up in a minute. So get into those corners. So we're there. So next stage is just to leave it. If you give it sort of 10 minutes, the top will start to go a little bit powdery and start to dry, and that's the point where you can start to clean it. If you do it now, you just smear the grout around. So yeah, give it 10-15 minutes, maybe even 20 if you made it quite loose, your grout, but you want it to look a bit like this. So you can see this is looking a little bit sort of powdery and drier on the top. You can see that texture different from when it was freshly put on. So now we can go in with some kitchen roll, and I'm just going to very gently just rub over the surface in little circular motions, and you'll see your colours starting to appear. You don't want to wait too long to do this, because then it's quite difficult to get it off the surface. So it's just a case of keeping an eye on it and waiting until you're at the right stage. But, just keep going in, little circular motions. I'm not pressing hard. It's quite powdery at the minute, so it's easy to get it off. And keep going until your design starts to appear. So you can see, there's my little bird has appeared through the grout. There are a few pieces of glass which are a bit lower than the other ones, so I'm just going in to clean those so we can see them all. It's not perfectly clean yet, but that's fine. I'm going to go around the edges and just with the side of my hand press it in. There. Just to knock off any tiny little bits sticking out like this. So I'm not pressing it hard, I'm just patting it down. So there are a few little areas that need a bit of a touch up, usually around the corners. So I can go in with my grout. I've got a little bit on my finger and I can just build up that corner, pressing it in to where it needs it. Again, I'll go in, just press it down with my palm of my hand. There's a little bit that needs going in there. press that in. This corner. You can see, I hope it's just a little piece popped off there. So we'll just press a tiny bit in on the end of my finger and press with the palm of my hand. There. Just to smooth off that little edge there. I hope you can see that. Just a few little holes. Once again, with grouting finger, and then just press it with the palm of my hand. There, I think we're nearly there. So, again, we can leave it a couple of minutes before we give it a final polish up. Just when we cleaned it over before, we will have exposed some of the less set grout. So just to give that a chance to kind of powder over, we'll give it another couple of minutes, and then we'll give it a little polish again. So, final little polish. Just circular motions, not hard, not pressing too much. Just getting those last bits of grout off. Give it a nice polish. And you can see the tiles are starting to look shiny. There might be a tile or two that might need digging out. So you can go in with a toothpick, something like that, and just scrape off the excess bits of grout. I can't see actually too much on here, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes the piece of tile is just tipped over a little bit, but a toothpick is a good tool to get rid of those last stubborn bits of grout, and just dig any bits of tile out that are a tiny bit buried. So last thing I like to do is just, again with the palm of my hand, with gloves on of course, give it a little polish over, go around the sides, and there you have your grouted piece. There's one other thing to do, which is just to finish off the bottom edge of it. So I'll be back. So the final thing we're going to do is finish off the bottom of your little coaster. So I'll flip him over. You can see he's a bit grubby, so we'll give him a clean. I've just got a bit of kitchen roll, and this is actually glass cleaner. Give it a nice clean. So he's all lovely and clean and dry. We're going to put some little feet on, so he's non-stick. So you will have these little cork circles in your kit. We just peel off the backing, and one in each corner. Press it down. Obviously make sure your tile is lovely and dry as well, or you'll have trouble sticking them. Lovely. So there's your little tile all finished, and he's lovely and secure on his feet. So I'd absolutely love to see your finished coaster. Please do tag me on Instagram or Facebook. You can see the details here, and I'll put them in the comments as well underneath this. But yeah, please share your finished pieces with me. I would love to see them.